Listen Up would like to hear your thoughts on immigration and refugee reforms. Pop by our website and answer this week's question. How do you think Canada can improve its welcome for refugees and immigrants? Write to us at listenuptv.com. Welcome back. Listen Up is continuing our look at how Canada treats its strangers. This church made headlines for the way it welcomes refugees to the country. Here's Ricky Ratliff.
Thank you to all of you who contributed to this, helping save this family.
It was a rare move for this government to partner so openly with the church in bringing a refugee family to Canada.
And what happened to this 3-year-old girl who was raped because her father refused to convert away from Christianity, touched my heart. And you know that there are many, many cases like this, and we can't help everyone. But this one presented itself as a case where we could help.
And he asked us if we would be willing to sponsor a at-risk family in a Islamic country that was at risk, and would we look after bringing them here and getting them employed and the whole process. Everyone said yes.
I just felt there was a very compelling humanitarian need for that family to have a fresh start in security and safety, and there were community church groups that were willing to facilitate that.
I can remember when I challenged our church and said there's a family at risk that we're looking to bring here in 2 weeks. We need $20,000. I was emotionally overwhelmed.
It's a church that makes a habit of welcoming newcomers. 2,000 of the 3,000 members here are new Canadians. It's also a generous church. They passed the offering bucket once and raised the $20,000 needed to get the family to safety.
Then the first Sunday that they were here at this church, Munir and his family from Pakistan, I cried. And it was like a whole bunch of, hundreds of people were crying. And they didn't know these people. I'm getting emotional right now. Something about loving other people and caring for other people is at the heart of God. And God's heart is that he loves people so much that he gave his son, across cultural boundaries, across the cosmos. He went from heaven to earth. And if there was ever a big leap of how do you fit in, Jesus understood that.
Why do you feel so compelled to take this initiative and welcoming immigrants here?
I think it partly is my heritage. I was a missionary kid in Malawi, Africa, and so I grew up being the only white kid in a black community. And apparently I would tell my mom all the time, how come I'm not black? And just, I wanted to fit in. Helping
others to fit in has become part of this pastor's mission.
We are a simple church in the sense that even our sermons are not, I'm going to get in trouble by saying this, we're not trying to be deep theological, we're trying to be practical. And so if you're learning the language, you'd understand it.
And on any given Sunday, this church brings a whole new understanding to the idea of reasonable accommodation.
Well, this is used on Sundays and especially at conferences. And because some people are new and don't speak English well, they would look for some assistance.
The next step involves the business of nearly 100 hanging flags.
These would represent people who are born in those nations. And what we do is a little ceremony, a 5-minute ceremony on a Sunday morning. They have a little PowerPoint, they show their country on a map, they give prayer points, here's what we need to pray about our nation.
Clearly raising flags and money for immigrants isn't enough. Love, this pastor believes, requires something more.
We had one family stay with us for 5 months, and it's very awkward at times. Our sons started to get a little, hold it, why are they always playing with my toys? You get those kind of things. But at the same point, you grow like never before. You learn to be a servant, you learn to care, you learn to see people through the eyes of Jesus.
The Ibagons were another family that needed a place to stay. They immigrated from Colombia in search of a better future. When Pastor Steve put out a call to his staff to open their homes as well, this member answered. And why did you not hesitate to invite these strangers into your home?
Why, I think because I saw there's a real need and we can surely help. When I came to Canada, I don't know anyone. I don't have any family. And so I realized it's very hard for someone to come here. So helping somebody else was very satisfying for me.
The Tanyans hosted the Ibagon family for 3 months and eventually helped them find an apartment in the building they live in today. But putting the pieces of their new life in Canada together was a puzzle that proved a little more difficult to solve.
It was a big shock for us because for us was a mix of, we changed country, we became parents first time, we were out without family, our English, our ability to communicate was not the best, all at the same time, no job, and it was so hard, too much stress.
Did you question your reasons for coming? When you got here, did you think to yourselves, we made a bad decision?
At some point I was I give up. But Maria always was so faithful. She never complained. Even in the middle of a difficult situation, she never complained.
On the surface, she may have appeared happy, but Maria remembers the reality of the emigration process like it was yesterday.
And just remember my niece or my nephews. I have one niece and one nephew. Just thinking that I cannot see them grow, that was the hard part. Or know that my kids grow without the family, that was the hard part. That is the hard part about the loneliness for me, yes.
Has it been worth it?
Yes. It's because we changed. We can initially focus on the world because this is a world country. There is a lot of. It's a safe country. Everything you need, the basic needs are here. You can fulfill here. But we find out that the real wealth of this country is the spiritual wealth.
What do you mean by that?
Well, this country was built based on the Christian values, and this country is what is right now because it was the basis of this country was built on the Christian principles, and God blessed this country. This country is a blessed country, and still the hand of God is over this country, and we receive that benefits because we became part of this country.
The Ibagons have come full circle as they lead a house version of church for other Spanish-speaking immigrants who are looking to belong. 8 years since they've landed, they have dreams for their life in Canada and a business plan in the works. Immigrants like the Ibagons are essential to Canada's economic future. And as the visible minority is projected to double by 2031, the minister challenges Canadians to get involved in putting out the welcome mat.
Well, it is who we are as a country. Canada has always been a country that's open to newcomers, that's built on their energy, and a country that has valued the diversity and the gifts of people who come from around the world.
And there's something in our makeup, something about Canada that says we're called to give, we're called to bless. And so I just really feel that if people aren't doing that, they're missing out on the destiny that God has for Canada.
For Listen Up TV, I'm Ricky Ratliff.
When we return, what does the Bible say about welcoming strangers? We'll find out in the wrap.